So here I am. Timestamps will be in the description below, and hopefully in a pinned comment if I need to, because I'm definitely going to change these runes. Someone mentioned that we should probably change the name of these, and I don't know if I'm going to be changing it. It'll depend on if we have an agreed way to change it, but if not, I mean, I'm still doing progression technically, because as you can see, shotgun diamond is the only thing I have. I don't think you need to do every combination, but we'll find out. As I decide to do knockback. We'll do vigilance, elemental shield. Why not? And then I still like healing, but I can see how blessing. Let's work with blessing. Let's play around a bit. Let's just play around with it. And I still want growth, actually. I'm going to try to be, try hard a little bit. I don't know if that's really called try hard. I would actually like cadence, but as you can see, I don't have enough room, so it goes to show how much I play this game. But Pistol Shauna, here we go. So 1 minute in, I'm going to start with this Holy Shield, and I should only need, well, I used to only need 2 shots. I forgot I took different perks, so I need 3 shots to down 1 enemy, which may or may not end up killing me, but let's find out. You can hear my mouse because I'm recording in a certain area, so that means you're going to hear it. I'm hoping, I think I picked Ethereal as well, but that's only after I kill 50 enemies, of course. And along with anything, I've been busy today. That's the last time I'll go off tangent about real life, because it means I have less time to look up things here. That said, though, I think I've seen everyone. Did I used to say, like, Spark, people might have looked down on Spark? I never looked down on Spark, but we know Spark's good as well. So, literally at this point, as static pops in the microphone, yeah, all the characters are good. Now, Darkness level 15, all the characters are good. I'm going to assume a lot of screenshots and whatnot are on Darkness level 15. I don't know why I should be assuming that, but I am. Power Shot, Electromage. Let me think. I'm not. We'll take Power Shot for now. Splinter is still good, so our Splinter is going to be good for me here, but I do want the double shot tree, because at this point, I think unless I get in unlimited shields, which is going to rely on my RNG, and yeah, that's I can't rely on RNG, so we'll hope. Yes, we have rerolls, and I should be rerolling more, but we'll see, because I haven't really thought of builds aside from, you know, double shot tree, and then obviously freeze. Everyone, people are saying freeze is broken. Objectively, I mean, it is pretty strong, but I think double shot tree is right up there, because you want to be able to AoE things. Now, that's not for every build. I've seen builds that are more not double shot, but it works out depending. That said, I've mainly played Diamond, and I think Shauna would be a close second next to Abby. So I didn't really play. I mess around with Tina too, but we're gonna take Pyromage here. But so I have gotten my shoes a bit wet. Shoes wet? Oh my goodness! I'm concentrating a bit here because, as I found out earlier, if I didn't mention it before, apparently shotgun is easy mode. So everyone can say anything about that. I can see where that comes from though, because again, AoE, CC, AoE and or CC is pretty good. So that said, I need to make use of Ethereal. I need to stop not holding down things. But for me personally, it's double shot, and then after that, anything kind of. But let me see here, because I'd have to think about what else you would take with it. If I think at one point I said bounce is good for shotgun as well. It's not totally useless, but you see the effect of bounce much more prevalently, much more clearly on at least pistol. And if I can get bounce after a bunch of double shot tree, then you will see why. But the assumption is that you're not. The assumption is that you're not. Let me focus for a moment. The assumption is that your bullets are not going to kill anything, so they have the ability to bounce. Where a shotgun, its range isn't far, so I think that's in an indirect way, range, or quote-unquote, your bullet range, the range of your shots, is affects the bounce, basically, or vice versa. Because if your bullet doesn't live long enough, it bounces for like a short distance and nothing happens. Whereas opposed to the pistol, which has a very, very long range, quote unquote, that means it gets to bounce more with its effects. And I think someone also mentioned how penetration and bounce kind of mess up each other. I don't really think that's the case. I think they can actually synergize when you think about big swarm waves. So sometimes it would depend, but I think in swarm waves you see its use a lot more clear. If that phrase makes any sense as I proceed to get swarmed here. But the point is that in this wave, if I could penetrate into bounce, basically what would happen is that you get kind of a shatter effect with true damage. What I mean by that is, so in this pause screen, let me take about 5-10 seconds while I think about. Now I'm gonna reroll. If I penetrate this first wave right here, or penetrate twice, that means the bullet stops. I'm doing air quotes in real life on this third ad, and then it'll bounce on this third ad and bounce around inside of the swarm of ads. You get what I mean? So that's So penetration and bounce kind of work in tandem, unless that's not how it works. Don't quote. Well, you can quote me, but and then you could say I'm wrong. But I feel like I've seen that. I feel like my eyesight over the span of all these playthroughs, I know I've been using shotgun mainly, so bounce is less prevalent there, question mark. But I definitely have seen it when I used bounce with at least pistol Shauna, but you get the point. So I will be picking up penetration is the bottom line of what I just said, because I want to be able to penetrate at least 1 or 2 ads. Even if I penetrate 3 or 4, that might be a bit too much, but on big swarm waves, it'll show its worth because it penetrates into the big swarm, and then it bounces around inside. That's it. Hey, you know what? I need one of these so that I can, if I get triple, I can triple stalwart, which is gonna be cool. We'll see. Yeah, so triple the effect. And we can level up to 12 now. I might actually want to concentrate on that. But holding down left click is pretty important in this game. Unless, obviously, if you're not hitting anything and you don't have lightning, it's less efficient. But it's something that I've learned to do. I don't know if this stacks. Assassin doesn't. I think someone explained it. That said. Let's find out. I didn't look up everything. Of course, you would have to consider all triple effects of the triple effects of all things. I'm sure I could look it up in the community, but I didn't look up Frostbite. So we've quote-unquote tripled the effect of Frostbite, which, from the way Assassin works, or doesn't work, I should say, or works but also bugs the game out, because I think how it works is if you assassinate quote-unquote something, it's still 20%, but you get 3 kills in 1, because the game calculates that one shot is tripled in a way, or the kill is tripled. So therefore, I would like movement speed here, but which I just got. Thank you. We're gonna take haste. Yeah, so you triple the shot and you get triple the kills, which might help you get 30k easier. I feel like 30k is, well, no, never mind, because I didn't look into it. So maybe that's how people are getting 30k kills. If not, I mean, I'm gonna be experimenting. So thankfully, I have the Holy Shield. So Holy Shield still has it's not like Holy Shield was ever useless, but with Holy Shield, you at least don't lose double your HP. So that's the immediate effect that you can see. That said, Rage, Speed, what am I building? I wish I could see my perks here. I don't know. I don't want to hit Escape. Well, I just hit Escape. Oh my goodness, Static. Elements, Rage, Speed. I'm probably going to take Elements just to ride on Freeze. I'm not going to try to challenge myself, because, again, I'm still going through, I'm still trying to Red 15 everything. That said, if I want to experiment with more and feel prouder about myself Red 15ing everything, I should probably try to stay away from Freeze, even though that's kind of counterproductive. I mean, you can min-max any game. That's not quite well, it is a fair argument. You can say that because you can say that about every game, but for those who didn't know, Freeze is extremely powerful because of the effect. I've mentioned it over and over, but to reiterate, CC, DPS, and crowd control, DPS, and AoE all in one. So it's pretty powerful in a game that is specifically about being able to do DPS, clear crowds, and stopping things from coming towards you, and controlling the crowd are all important things. So until we get a darkness level, excuse me, that reduces the effect of elemental things, which might destroy elemental builds. But again, I leave that discretion up to the developers and the community to decide, because, well, if I had the choice, I mean, maybe a little bit if you really wanted to, but I'm not trying to push anything specific. I know I have that power as someone making videos and stuff, in a way, but that's, we'll pick split fire. Again, I personally think for a lot of builds, the double shot tree is very good for almost every build because of the general utility that it usually provides. Of course, there might be very specific things, maybe like flamethrower, bat gun, crossbow, maybe, but even then, you want your shots to spread most of the time. Of course, if you have infinite shields, Shana, if you are pacifist Hina, you can kind of disregard a lot of things, but still, I think it's pretty important to note. Quick hands is something I'd usually take on a more, well, general utility-wise, I think it's good, but we're going to take Stalwart Shield because of our HP, mostly. I would have liked to triple it. I think tripling. I don't know if that's intended or not. I feel like I saw both opinions where it's not intended and it's intended. If it is intended, we can still talk about it balance-wise as I kind of AFK here for a moment, but, oh, that's right, I don't have bounce bullets yet. But we can still talk about it, because if it is intended, you're relying on RNG. Yes, you're Shana, you get to reroll, but 4 rerolls across all the perks you get, you can argue it both ways in there as well. So if you're at level, let's say 9 when you get triple, as I picked Vitality, probably shouldn't have picked that, but if you get triple right on level 9, then you're rolling. Then you have to hope you get a Stalwart if you build into Holy Shield. Out of the double choice you get, because you can reroll once as Shana. If you're level 30, then you can. If you're level 30 by the time you get it, and we're assuming it's early, then you're already powerful at that point. So it's not like you really. Well, I mean, you guarantee your survival, and if depending on how difficult the end game is, I should be actually walking forward. I don't know why I'm doing that, but depending on where you are in game, you can kind of argue that you're already gonna kill everything anyway. So invincibility is usually overkill. So, I think it would still be balanced in a way, because you're relying on RNG. You can't just say, oh, every run I get Stalwart Shield. I mean, you can kind of say that, but I think that's more of a me opinion, unless we see that, again, and I know that it's probable, considering Shana and most players' luck, so you can argue, yeah, you can get unlimited shields, Shana, on a consistency of runs. On a lot of runs in a vacuum. But still, it's relying on RNG. It doesn't help the people who don't get it every run, as I would do, as I have been so far, because I have yet to get it. So, if that's out of at least 3 runs, so I'm 0 for 3, so assuming I get it next run, I have a 25% chance of getting basically a free run, I guess, if you want to say it that way. But, and I think one of the counter arguments against, hey, there are too many broken builds, is that it's literally part of the advertisement of the game. Like, it says to make a broken build. I think it still says that on the Steam page. I don't know. I'd have to look at it. But, I mean, when the game itself says it, it goes both ways. If the game itself says it, that means it needs to not break its own wording. If it turns back, then to some people it looks bad. I know some people want to defend it. But I can see where people say it would look bad if a game, says, oh, you can build broken builds, and then it balances itself into either very few things or still a lot of broken things, depending on what the wording is. If you get what I mean, you get what I mean. I didn't really explain it that well, but rewinding all the way back, if it's not intended, if infinite shielding is not intended, I mean, one of these arguments is moot. It's just the binary form of what this argument is. But if it's not intended, then it's going to be patched out. So, rip. But Shana is still broken, because you can triple a lot of things that just make her extremely good. I can't remember. But yeah, it's not great. Yeah, I'm kind of autopiloting this right now. I shouldn't be autopiloting this that well. I mean, people who want to not defend, that's not a great. That sounds a bit disingenuous. Disingenuous. It can look bad to some people. I know I kind of want to talk about this because, I mean, you can't ignore it when it's actually legit criticism. Should we say it's criticism of the game? But There are people who want to play the game differently, and they notice that, you know, freeze and or AoE cleaving is very, 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 very overpowered. But again, one of the arguments against that is that you're supposed to make an overpowered build. Otherwise, you just end up dying. And if it was so easy, then why are people still dying on darkness level 5 and below? And then you have arguments, and then you have arguments, opinions. You have viewpoints, I guess, pushed around or not thrown around. Again, that sounds disingenuous, but I'm not saying this right. Bad wording. But you get people who say, well, you don't have to play at darkness level 10, 15, and then the argument shot back is like, well, that's part of the game, otherwise what's the point? And then you get reflected back in terms of, well, you don't have to play darkness anyway if you have fun at level 0. It's the whole thing. And neither side is invalidated because they both actually have truth to them. Yeah, for me personally, I'm the type who kind of adapts to anything, so that might not help as much, you know, in terms of making the game better, but I can at least offer you some insight into both viewpoints, I guess, is how if we want to say it that way, but as I sit here, and you can probably say, well, you're just having an easy time because you're autopiloting this, but autopiloting, I mean, I'm still focusing on dodging. I'm dodging these bullets now, but well, again, we'll see. I think the dev planned an update, but I can't remember. I don't even... Oh, yeah. Angelic? I can't remember. I don't play Shauna. I haven't played Shauna too much. I have played her a few times, but not enough to remember the perk names. The effects I can kind of remember, because all I have left is finding the... her last perk that allows you to... that you need to grab 3, quote-unquote, grab 3 other perks. Oh my goodness, my words. But here we are. Kill clip, yeah, we'll go Electromage. We're building into elements. Elements, I think, completely busted, question mark, or necessary. Again, it's really... I leave that up to the viewer's discretion. I'm trying not to push anything, but I do have my own opinions, and I think, again, in my mind, usually everything's balanced. Nothing really seems too bad, but if it's a problem for... But if a lot of people are complaining about it, then... And a lot means close to a majority, so... I mean, you don't want to lose or turn off like 45% of your player base, even 33%, even 25% depending, but I'd say 25% is around when I definitely should put things on high priority, but it's at least still a priority if I were developing Minutes Till Dawn anyway. But I mean, you can't try to please everyone at the same time. It's a whole deal. So balance of the game, though, I think is, to me personally, if you were to ask my opinion, it's okay. No one really needs a buff or nerf. Some people want more buffs. Some people want a nerf to specific things, like freeze or something, or at least make any... But you have to be smart about it, and I'm going to put... Again, the dev is who the dev is, and if it's a good decision, we'll see. If it's not, I mean, there's always going to be criticism both ways, so... And, of course... A lot of, not stigma, but a lot of expectations carry over from Vampire Revivers, so obviously, since it's a top-down roguelike of this specific genre, and we have a few, not clones, again, I never want to say clones, because that sounds disingenuous. Disingenuous, I'm using that word a lot. I don't think I know what that word means anymore, but because we have a lot of this genre that we have right here, where you're shooting around, leveling up, trying to collect as much experience as possible. See, you have an experience bar at the top, then that means expectations are going to carry over, and that can color people's view, which, I mean, there's for good reason, because the games are very, very similar to each other. So how can you not draw a comparison and then make comparisons? Look at similarities, things that work, things that don't work. Minutes Till Dawn, again, it's more than presentation, though the presentation is one of the things I think personally is working for Minutes Till Dawn. At the same time, it's also the, I guess, Lovecraftian nature of it. So there are, I think, mainly 3 that are visible right now. Minutes Till Dawn, of course, Vampire Revivers, and then a specific other one that is, I shouldn't say because of the... Yeah, but if you know what it is, it's definitely 3D, and its main drawing point is the visuals, I guess I should say. So it is what it is. But on that note, if we were to talk about it professionally, that third game specifically, I think it would do better not like tying itself more to the I'm using the word graphical, but that's not the specific phrasing I should use, but I'm going to use it in place of its actual draw. But it would have to concentrate or tie in more of its gameplay towards its graphical, not niche, but graphical draw, while trying to stay in the same genre. Of course, it's going to be a top-down roguelike. It is a top-down roguelike, as I lose my Holy Shield, but hey, it's you would have to tie it more into the graphical elements, or at least gameplay, story, character-wise, but not too much. There are a lot of games that have been ruined trying to focus on the graphical elements, so, you know. And then Minutes Till Dawn, Minutes Till Dawn has some freedom, so if it wants to focus on story, if it wants to focus on characters, if it wants to just focus mainly on gameplay, what I mean by that is the dev could have, a story mode in place. I'm not saying that's what it needs, but if it plans on story, it could go that way and succeed or fail. If it plans on focusing on gameplay, just making more darkness levels, prioritizing darkness levels and balance, then it can go that way. It can succeed or fail. I hope it succeeds. I really like the game, but we'll see what the dev decides to do. Let me just... my nose is itchy. I'm going to stand here and AFK for a moment. Gosh dang it. But, yeah, we'll see where the developer goes, as I pretty much am playing Shotgun Shana. But, hey, it's still Revolver Shana. I mean, I think this was something I saw someone mention, where a lot of weapons turn into this. Usually, not all the time, but it's... I can see where they come from. At the same time, I rewind back to my and some people's point where if you're not turning into a variation of, what looks like a shotgun on screen with some variations, obviously with grenade launcher, but if you're not turning into this, then how are you killing all the enemies, basically, is the point. We don't have a melee weapon yet. Maybe the dev is planning to put in katana, and if I'm right, I just know that I'm not connected to the dev in any way, but... we have other things. Other games also already have, of this genre, already have melee weapons. So, I wonder if I'm gonna... I know I can hit level 35, because I have double XP buffs, one from Shana's character perk, and the other from Rune perks. The question is, will I be lucky enough? I think it's worth it. I completely forgot what her Halo does. But, there's a reason why I call it Angelic Shana. So we're gonna re-roll for it and look for it, and we're not gonna get it. So, hey... we're going to take aim here, because ever since I found out speed is practically range, then, yeah, I'm more willing to put it in. Maybe I shouldn't, but it allows me to focus fire, which is a lot better. So, hey, we'll see. And yeah, this is what bounce turns into. I need to remind myself of that, because I didn't record my last run, which I failed. Otherwise, Shauna would be a red 15, and I'd be using another character and weapon. But, yeah, I want to get her Halo, but... yeah, so 3, and then we'll see if I can get it in the last minute here, which will still matter. I would want it regardless, if for no other reason than to remind myself what it does. And I have all this experience lying around. So lying around. Lying is for something that is, self-said. Penetration, Well, that sucks. I'm going to take a neutral perk. I consider magnetism more neutral, although it does help you level up faster and you get perks faster, DPS, so on and so forth. But, yeah, I have all this experience lying around. I think that was where I left off. And I could probably level up to 36 for sure, halfway to 37, if I concentrate on everything. But Mastery would be good, but we're going to look for Halo. Didn't get Halo, so Electro Mastery we go. Things have like hundreds of health, so Lightning might... I mean, if I had the synergy, I know for sure Lightning does a lot of DPS. If only like 10% of something's HP, when it splashes, it does a lot. Sniper, I didn't even build into Assassin, and hey, here we go. We got Shauna's Halo. What does this do again? Hey, fire rate 50, reload rate 50, vision range 75. So considering this, your not Monkey Brain, because it's not Monkey Brain always sounds bad, but brute force way to think about Shauna would be to, hey, I get Halo, I should take vision perks on the rune tree. I don't think I did. I can check, but I'm not going to do that, so you can just refer to the beginning of this video, which should be a video. But at the same time, I mean, still, the reload rate and fire rate, I completely forgot, is pretty good. I don't need regeneration, so... these are kind of anyway, but I don't get anything bad for taking that perk. I forgot what its name was, but Assassin Tree. So I'm gonna take it as I enter the last minute here. That said, let me reiterate that Ethereal carried me a lot this game, and all of my previous games. But again, I'm staying overpowered, if for no other reason than to play with overpowered quote-unquote builds before I move on to do more challenging runs. But first of all, if I'm focusing on, being a completionist of the game, achievements probably going to come after all red 15s, which I think may be an achievement myself. I forgot to check at the Steam page, but also I have yet to do a pacifist run and maybe a reckless run. I can't remember. I think reckless does involve the grenade launcher, which I haven't used, obviously. You can see on my screen, so yeah. So this is good. If I die here, it's completely my fault, but we shouldn't die here. Reroll. Fine. So penetration may or may not hurt me. Specifically for launcher, I know a lot of people looked at launcher penetration. They're like, why would I use that? I want things to explode, but sometimes we want it to pass through. Again, it really depends on the wave. When it doesn't pass through, you see a lot more use. If you're running Splinter Launcher, have fun. I've seen people succeed with it, so... Or I've seen... I think seen is the correct verb there. And it's definitely an interesting and or fun run. I've tried it myself on Darkness Level 0 with Abby, and I still died, so obviously it has its own challenges. But I just think of it as I proceed to name drop, a very challenging Touhou run, said by someone who hasn't really cleared a Lunatic Touhou run yet. But, hey. So, we cleared that there. We are going to look at our perk tree, and I can at least check the characters lists and weapon lists before. Yeah, so I'd probably just go down and do this. I want to also do all weapons with diamonds just to kind of see, but until then, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.